everyone, and welcome to Geotab's Wildcard Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Shay Green. I am a learning consultant here at Geotab. For today's session, we'll be hearing from Eric Rutten, Digital Customer Experience Manager, and Jen Bouchard, our Support Community Manager. And they're going to be introducing you guys to the new Geotab community, how it functions, how it's going to help you guys and make your lives a lot easier, and also give you a chance to showcase all of your skills. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and hand things over to them right now.
Hello, everyone. This is Eric Rutten, Digital Customer Experience Manager. Thank you, Shay. We're going to spend the next hour walking you through this new offering of Geotab's new digital customer experience. So today we'll just quickly talk about what is digital customer experience, why do we think this is important, why are we offering this now to you, then a little brief intro to the Geotab community, then explain what knowledge-centered service is. It's this really cool knowledge management practice we've adopted at Geotab, which makes the knowledge base in this website awesome. Then I'll hand it over to Jen, who will walk through some of the cool things you can do in the Geotab community. I'll give a quick demo and then share some of the things we have on our roadmap about what we're adding to the community in the year to come. Just a little lighthearted fun to start off. The community is the place to go to ask your questions, and we'll kind of explain that in the course of time. This is me. I don't always have questions, but when I do, I certainly post them in the Geotab community. I encourage you to too. So digital customer experience. I don't need to go through all the stats here. It's pretty obvious stuff for most of us these days. You know, you don't necessarily want to pick up the phone to find an answer. You want to just from your smartphone, Google it, find the answer, and get on with your day. So that's why we're making this available to you. Most people, when asked, prefer to find their answer in an online knowledge base. So we've made that available to you. I'll explain how we've done that. The gist of this all is, though, in the end, self-service is fundamental. Not everyone prefers to Google the answer and find it, but most people do. So that's why it's there. We're going to still be here for you on the phones and provide that world-class customer experience, of course. Some people prefer to call, and that's okay. But for the others that want to search the knowledge base, find the answer, it's there. For those who want to ask a question in the community and figure out how like-minded people in their industry are using Geotab to maximize efficiency and all that kind of stuff, that's what the community's for. Our strategy is pretty simple and straightforward. We want to, in one place, in one website, bring all of the different information, documentation, knowledge, discussions, so that you can find it easily. Before we launched this community, it was kind of all over the place on different websites, YouTube, documentation, Geotab, blogs. We want from this one site, you can find it all. It might not all be there, but from there you can find it. And also adding to this new thing, this new knowledge base, which is basically, as funny as it sounds, a brain dump of everything our Geotab support teams know. And I'll explain how we make that possible in a bit. So, Geotab community, this is a brand new thing. Basically, it's resellers, customers, partners, and Geotab helping each other grow and succeed. So it's not just you asking us questions and us answering. Yes, that's part of it. But part of the great value is that you can now see how other people like you use Geotab software. Most of our customers work from very small fleets, so maybe 1 to 10 vehicles. So there's probably just one person at each of these companies that's responsible for running, you know, the fleet management software. Sure, it's awesome that you can pick up the phone and call Geotab, but wouldn't it be cool to talk to other fleet managers? You know, you can ask these other fleet managers, how have you created rules to impress your boss? And how have you created zones to track vehicle activity and improve safety and all that kind of stuff? Now, maybe just a little bit of background and context. We came up with this stuff, not just because we're sitting on a comfortable armchair and speculating what people might find interesting, but we sent out a survey earlier last year to all resellers and all of our customers with support services and asked, like, what would you find valuable if we were to make something like this? And these are some of the answers we got and some of the highlights. So that was one of the big ones. People said, I want to know how people like me use Geotab software. I want rapid solutions to questions. Geotab picks up the phone incredibly quickly, so you definitely can get rapid answers that way by phone and chat. But how much faster is it to just type in a search bar and then a knowledge base article is immediately presented to you? Pretty cool stuff. Some other cool things that the community taps into, makes available, is that, through the community, and I'll talk about the roadmap later, is that we want to make it easier and more possible for our entire ecosystem to submit ideas and feedback to us. So that's why we say some kind of broad statements like you can shape the future of telematics. By that we mean you can submit your ideas to Geotab and we'll take it seriously. We'll let the community vote on it, and if we get enough votes, we're going to make it happen, that kind of thing. That's something we want to release later this year. Specifically, like, tell me, Eric, what can I actually do here though? Yeah, like I mentioned, find answers quickly. So we've got knowledge base articles, technical documents you can find from there, how-to videos, Q&A in the community. If you can't find the answer, just post a question. It's pretty easy. You can tap into a village of experience. So it's not just you anymore. It's not just you and Geotab, but now we expanded the kind of network of knowledge. Now it's everyone who relates to Geotab but can now collaborate together and grow our collective knowledge base. You can also articulate the challenges you face. Sharing, like, I want to create rules so as to reduce idling or something like that. And you can put that out in the community and get other fleet managers to chime in on that and say how they've done that successfully. Something Jen will show too is you can, and we're just starting this now, but build your reputation and prove what you know about Geotab through the community, because we've got this kind of neat gamification and leaderboards built into it where all of your contributions are tallied and shown on the leaderboard. So if you look there, you can see, oh, these are the people that answer the most questions, that know the most. So what is KCS, Knowledge Centered Service? I'll just talk about this super quickly, but it's a really neat thing that we adopted at Geotab about 1.5 years ago. We face some of the same challenges our customers face, where maybe it wasn't easy to find the answer. It was in many different places. So to solve this challenge, we came across KCS, which is an industry best practice for integrating the use of knowledge into the workflow. And what that means is, like, while our support team is handling calls, chats, tickets, etc., they're expected to now refer to the knowledge base in the way that's appropriate. So if there's no article yet, when they get asked a question, then they create it. If there was one that they found and it was needing improvement, they improve it. If they find one that existed and it was right, great, link to it. And we use all this to continuously improve the knowledge base so that it represents everything that support knows, that all of the questions they get asked, all of the issues they encounter get captured in the knowledge base and improved over time through these processes. I'm not going to explain each of these points, but this is kind of just to show the overall program of KCS. There's all these different elements in play, and some of the cool parts of it that affect you when you use the knowledge base are these things on the right-hand side with capture, structure, reuse, and improve. Capture means we write articles in the words you use. So we're not going to write it in our own technical jargon, because, like, you don't search in those words, right? You don't want answers in those words. So capture means when someone asks us a question, we write the article like with that question, so that when you search it online, we expect that means you can find it. Our articles, you'll see when you browse, there's a common structure. We have Q&A type, a how-to type, and a solution type, which makes it easier to read, easier for us to write it in the moment too, write them quickly. And we reuse them. I mentioned that earlier. If we find stuff in the knowledge base when we solve tickets, then we link to them. That's where we have this left-hand side. We use that data to improve our product. So we see, oh, this article gets used a lot. What does that mean about, like, customers using our product? If they're asking this question a lot, does that mean we need to improve this part of our product to make it better, to make it more intuitive, and so on? It happens through the evolve loop, as they say in KCS. So we have like a team of subject matter experts that review stuff, and stuff that gets used a lot, we make it better and add value to it. But also, just because everyone is always referring to the knowledge base, including you, there's an ability to submit feedback, which I can show you later. We take that and we incorporate it. So it's continuously evolving and improving rapidly. That's all I'll say for now, but we'll give you our email at the end, so you can always reach out with additional questions, or at the end of this presentation. So I will hand it off to Jen at this point. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Genevieve or Jen, the community manager. Whichever works best for you, I'll answer to either. I'll even answer to hey community lady. So pretty much what the community is it offers you an area to research and to find answers, self-service, as Eric had mentioned, and it's also an area to connect. So this first part here is crowdsource support questions and success tips. We've broken that down into two distinct areas. Questions is for more of your general questions. You can ask my Geotab software questions, marketplace solution questions, those success tips as well that Eric had mentioned, like the how do I set up a zone to be more efficient, things along those. They all go under the question section. Once you look at it, and we will show this more in the demo, there's also even more topics you can go into. You can go under setup and installation, and there it will filter so that you only have questions relevant to setup and installation of our products. Again, we have an entire area dedicated to discussing reports and data, how to create reports, how to customize reports, how to read our data, how to understand what certain violations stand for, and things like that. As well as we offer troubleshooting in that area. Myself, other Geotab staff, and other Geotab users and customers will jump in there and help each other troubleshoot things that are commonly asked. For example, how do I reset a password? A lot of customers and resellers know exactly how to reset a password, and we will jump in there and somebody will help you troubleshoot through those problems or help your customers troubleshoot through those problems. Then we also have the developer section. Anybody is welcome to join the developer section, check it out, read through the information, but specifically what it is for is to help users of our SDK to understand how to use SDK, to share tips, to even get specific coding. And again, with that, we have Geotab staff who are experts at the SDK who will jump in and help you specifically tweak coding and understand how to do that. But we also have other members who are very knowledgeable and have been doing this for years who can come in and assist with that too. So the big power behind this is it's crowdsourced knowledge. It's no longer just Geotab staff, but it's Geotab staff, Geotab partners, Geotab resellers, Geotab customers. We can now get knowledge and information and tips from everybody who deals with our products at every touch point, which is really powerful. Again, we also include a repository of knowledge. So what that means, as Eric had mentioned earlier, we have a knowledge base. It's this really cool method where every single question that is called in, we document, we put it in the terms you can understand, and we have it available. So that all you need to do is, again, search, how do I reset my password? And you can pull up a knowledge article that would show you exactly what our support staff would have told you to reset that password. It's really powerful, really useful because it's at your fingertips. As Eric mentioned, our staff are really great at picking up the phone right away, but you don't even have to pick up the phone now. You can just type it in and you get your answer right there. You can keep a copy of that at your fingertips if you want. You can have them printed out and keep copies of them in your van if you want. All the information and knowledge is right there. I don't always advise you print them out because as things get updated, the knowledge base on our website will have that. But I'm just letting you know that there are options now. The resources can be at your fingertips. We also include in there the product guide, additional support documentation, installation documentation. There's a link to our how-to videos, which include amazing content that show you how to set up reports and do all of those things. And those are actually being updated right now, and they will keep being updated. We will keep adding new videos. Again, we also have a release notes section, and then we allow you to get quick access to the My Geotab SDK site. One thing I would like to say with other resources too is this is what we have on there right now, but we will continuously add resources as we can and as you guys suggest them. So later on, we will show you how to contact me directly, how to contact the community team. But at any point, if you ever feel there's a resource that you use a lot and you would like to have a quicker access to, we can very likely make that happen and get that on this website for you in the other resources section. So, I mean, the first question people typically ask is, how do I join? And fortunately, it's very simple. You visit community.geotab.com, and then once you do, in the upper right-hand corner, there will be a bright blue login button. All you have to do is click that and then select your user type. From there, you have options. You can choose Geotab Customer if you would like to sign in using one of your social media logins. We offer logging in through your Gmail, through LinkedIn, and through Facebook. But additionally, we also offer the opportunity to log in through your MyAdmin account. I did actually make a quick mistake I would like to clarify. Choosing Geotab Customer will allow you to log in through your My Geotab account. Choosing Other will allow you to log in through social options. But we will show a demonstration of this later and clear that up. And then from there, all you do is just enter in your credentials, click login, and you're automatically in the community now. You have an account set up and you can start participating. So again, this is just a quick little video to show you how that happens. Very simple. Like I said, you click customer, this is my GeoGen account, and bam, you would have been put in. So a few of the different options, as we've mentioned, as you can search for answers. Now, when you search for answers, we have this really great feature where it's actually going to start populating relevant discussions and knowledge-based articles based on the text you put into the search. So for example, with this one, I typed in how to set up a driver with HOS. It instantly will give me relevant articles and relevant discussions that have any of those. So what the community is continuously trying to do is make sure you can get your answers fast. And there are a lot, again, when you post questions, it will do the same thing. We're trying to make sure that if we have the knowledge out there already on the internet, that that knowledge is presented to you immediately. So again, though, if you happen to not find that knowledge, if it's not there already, you can get it there. So all you have to do is ask a question. It's very simple. From the main page, you have a big blue button that will say ask a question. But additionally, if you click in the question section or the developer section, that same big blue button will appear and allow you to ask questions specifically to those topics. So when asking a question, you would start off by posting to. What that means is the topic you're looking to post under. So if it's more of a developer question, you're wanting to talk about My Geotab SDK, you can choose exactly one of those topics. You can choose My Geotab SDK, and therefore this question will post to that group, and people who are interested in that subject will have more visibility and be able to look at that and chime in and discuss it with you. But you can also post to other topics, like we said. So if you wanted to ask how to customize a report, you choose post to data and reports. And again, now your question goes under that feed. So people who specialize and have a lot of knowledge in data and reports will see those and be able to chime in and give you those great answers. So once you've selected your post to topic, you type in a question. We recommend that for the question part, you keep it pretty succinct. But the reasoning behind this is, again, this is a resource for everyone in the Geotab ecosystem. So you don't necessarily want all of your details in that quick search. You want it to be the simple, how do I reset my password? But we do, right under questions, have a details section. The details section is where you can include all of those specific details that can help create context and really help us troubleshoot your question. Again, we want to make sure that we're immediately solving any of your needs, but we also want to make sure that the knowledge is usable for the entire ecosystem. So that's why we ask that you keep the questions portion kind of to the point, and then you add as many details and context and troubleshooting steps you've already taken, the technology you're using, any other things you can think of to help us solve your problems. You can include that in the details section. Once you've completed that, you also have the option of adding additional topics to the bottom. For example, we don't have an ELD section currently. If your question is ELD related and you would like that to be noted, you can simply type in ELD at the bottom, and that will include a new tag feature. But again, when we do the demonstration, we'll go over all of this a little slower. So once you've filled all of that out, all you have to do is hit ask, and your question is now posted, and you will have answers by the end of the day, guaranteed. More than likely, you will have an answer within an hour or so. Our community is already taking off, and people are very active, and they're getting in there and they're responding, and we couldn't be happier with the results thus far. So you're probably asking what to ask. You can almost ask anything. General product questions, again, setup and installation, data and reports. I don't know, I really have to read through all of these for you, but you can ask your marketplace questions. And again, success questions are a big thing we want this to be. Like we had said, when we sent out that survey, a lot of people were really just wanting to know how other people in their specific industry were using the products. And you can do that here. You can reach out and say, I work with fire trucks. How are other people using the Geotab product to improve that? And very likely somebody else uses our product in your same industry and can jump in and give you some information on that. So we, again, really encourage you to post those success questions. How to use products better, how to use products to solve your business problems and challenges. And like Eric kind of mentioned, impress your boss. Who doesn't want to do that? Additionally, we have training questions. And then something I really do like to encourage is you don't even only have to ask questions here. You can also share advice. If you come across something that you have a lot of knowledge on and you know other people could benefit from it, please share. Create a post. Recently, I had somebody mention they had a lot of information about lone workers. And what I advise them to do is create a post, title it Lone Workers, and then include anything you can that can help other people. Get that out there, get that in our ecosystem. That's what we want this to be. We want to grow this to make sure that all the knowledge we have, everything is, like we said, just a type away. So as Eric had mentioned before, a big thing, it's pretty fresh, but it's taking off already, that we have is the leaderboard. There are two different great parts to this. The first is that it's an opportunity to really show what you know. And I mean, who doesn't want to do that? You can show what you already know about Geotab products, and you can also learn more through the community and then keep adding to that knowledge of what you know out there. This allows you to build a reputation, and in doing so, for one thing, I mean, that provides intrinsic value that everyone likes to know they're feeling smart, but it also allows you to get yourself out there if you happen to be a reseller and you would like people to know what your company can offer. This is a great way right here to show that you are an expert in, for example, setup and installation. And so if you make it to the leaderboard, right now we're displaying our top 5. Not only does it display you up there, get your name out there, and it shows your points, but as it shows here under Knows About, it specifically will say the topics that you've been endorsed for. And what that means is these are topics that you have answered a lot of questions on. You give great answers, you get marked a lot of best answers, which is a feature I will go into in a little bit, or Eric might demonstrate. And again, that's just a great way to build up that reputation and show what you know. The other great part of this leaderboard is we're still working out all the little details, but Geotab is going to be offering exclusive perks and rewards for our top members of this leaderboard. One part that we're currently working on right now too will be a VIP program, and top leaders are a great way to get into the VIP program. And this VIP program will offer you exclusive perks, access, training, additional resources. Anyone can benefit from that. So it's a really great new feature. We're excited about it, and some people have already really jumped in there and they're showing what they know. And I mean, I'm impressed, so I don't imagine others wouldn't be. So if you're wondering how else to get involved, there's a lot more than just asking a question. A great start would be to update your user profile. When you create a profile, most of the time it's going to assign you a ridiculous name like user 512, etc., etc. That's not really going to show off who you are. So you can easily go in there and edit your profile. I believe we can show you that in the demonstration, but if not, you can always reach out to me, again, Jen, the community manager, either directly in the community or through email, and I will gladly show you how to update your profile. It's very simple. You go up to the right-hand corner, click the little image, and it allows you to update your username. You can include in there a profile picture. You can include a little tidbit about your experience. And it's a really great way to kind of get yourself out there and start connecting with people. You know, it's hard to make connections if you're user 152. It's a lot easier to connect with Eric Rutten, the king of ELD and KCS. So additionally, you can join the Introduce Yourself thread. It's pinned to the top. It's also in the Getting Started section. And pretty much what it is it's an opportunity to kind of jump right in and say who you are, say what you're here for, kind of what your biggest challenges would be, what excites you most about Geotab and the products. And really, it's just an opportunity to kind of get your foot in the door. It can be intimidating to post for the first time, and we want to take that away. There's no need to be intimidated. I mean, I make a fool of myself all the time, so don't feel bad. Jump right in there, say hi to people, get yourself known. That's really the point of the community. We want you to learn from it, and we also want you to network. Again, you can follow topics of interest. I had mentioned that before, that posting under certain topics will mean people who have knowledge in those areas are likely to see that. And what that means is you can follow topics. So if you know a lot about data and reports, or you're just really interested in data and reports, there's a big blue button that says follow. If you select that, you will then be emailed and given updates on relevant conversations that are going on under that topic that you might want it to be notified about. Additionally, we have a select as best feature. This is a really, really useful feature, and I highly encourage everyone to try and get in the habit of doing it. If you ask a question and somebody gives you an answer that was great, the only way others can know that was an answer that actually worked, or I can know that was an answer that actually worked, is if you directly respond and you select best. All you do is select, it's a little button at the bottom, it says select best. We'll show you that again in the demonstration. And what this will do is it filters that answer to the top of that question. So therefore, the next person who comes in and again asks, how do I reset my password? The answer that was most useful is now populated to the top because you selected it as best, and the next user will not have to read through every response. They can instantly get that useful answer, reset their password, and move on with their day. So it's something that I do continuously to try and make sure those selected answers are in there. But again, it would be really beneficial to know what the customers and the users actually believe is the best answer that has worked for them. So please, I encourage you, select best anytime an answer worked for you, or even, like I said, if it just kind of made you feel happy, you can select it as best or upvote it down here. Upvoting is another answer, or is another option. It doesn't necessarily populate it to the top, but it allows other people to know that the response or the question was useful to you in some way. And then the last thing you can do, which we highly encourage, is flag anything you consider inappropriate or incorrect. We want this to be a safe environment. We also want this to be a knowledgeable resource. So if you see somebody providing answers that you know are just false answers, unfortunately, another user might not have that same knowledge you do and might not realize that the information given to them is incorrect. We will likely spot it and flag it and fix it ourselves, but you know, I'm only human too. Our staff here is only human. So if you happen to pick up something before us, please just flag that. I will be notified of it, and I will handle it as needed. So this is just a little bit of kind of what a few of our members have said so far. I guess I don't need to read these for you guys, but so far the feedback has been very positive. People are finding a lot of value in this. They're able to post questions, get the answers they needed. They're connecting with people. And like Eric said too, a great value out of this also is that every resource you can think of is there. If it's not there, it will be there. And that's really powerful because you don't have to search 5 different websites to get an answer. You can find it all in one place. It's a one-stop shop. So the last little bit is kind of, what is this community manager thing? I've been talking to you guys now for the last 10 minutes. Well, what do I do? Who am I? So pretty much my job is to make this an environment that you guys want to come to. And so how I do that is I try to encourage you guys to feel smarter, more valued, and connected. The best ways to do that are to make sure that there is great knowledge in this website for you all, which there is thanks to the knowledge base. Being valued is pretty simple. I mean, people have questions. When you come in and you can answer those questions, you are bringing value. So all I'm doing is facilitating and connecting the right person, if that makes sense. If somebody has a question about data and reports, I will make sure an expert in that subject matter answers them, and that person therefore gets value. That's all I'm doing, is just simple nudges to make sure you're actually getting the most out of this community. My other job is to make sure every question does get a fast, accurate answer. Like we said, that we This is another channel of Geotab support. Geotab's, the phone support, has a great reputation of giving quality service and fast service, and the community plans to meet those, if not attempt to exceed those. So my job is absolutely to make sure questions are answered and they're answered accurately. My other jobs, like I said, are to really just encourage relationships. So from the beginning to the end. So when newcomers come in, I want to make sure that you all are feeling comfortable. If you have any questions, if there's anything I can do to make this a resource that works better for you, or to kind of ease the nerves of posting for the first time, please let me know what I can do. Reach out to me. Anything I can do to help newcomers feel like this is their resource and a place where they can come to and openly ask anything and understand that there is no dumb question in this community. I will not allow that. That's what my job is. And then further, my attempt is to recruit people into that VIP program we mentioned and make sure they're being treated like the VIPs they should be treated like. So now I believe Eric Rutten will jump back in and he will show you a demonstration of all of these crazy features we've been talking about.
Thank you, Jen. I've already opened it up here. I think you can see that okay. So here is our community, which we're very happy to share with you today. Like Jen said, you can visit the community going to community.geotab.com. You can also find links from within my Geotab from the Getting Started and Help menu. I've already logged in just because we have a extra like two-step authentication process that I didn't want to bore you through observing, but I already logged in by picking Geotab employee. I'll just quickly show what she was talking about the profile before I forget. On the top right, you can click your profile, my profile, and you can edit some of the information there. Shame on me, I haven't put anything in the About Me section, so you really know nothing. But you can see I have updated my profile picture. Yes, it's the same guy from the beginning of the presentation. My nickname here is Eric, but I could make that Eric the Red if I had wanted to, but I won't today. Follow me in the community, maybe I will. Going back here, I don't think we talked about this in the presentation a little bit. It's a little simple guide on how to be a great community member. Some of the things that Jen covered about introducing yourself. It's a long thread of all the different members introducing themselves. Even Shay, I think, is in there. How cool. Just a couple of the things you can do to help out the community. Like if you look at this list here, you can always go to that page if you want to be a person that answers unanswered questions. It's a page devoted to that to make it easy. Also, there's some community guidelines here. Those are more like the do's and don'ts in terms of keeping this space safe, like Jen said, like don't be rude and don't say inappropriate things and that kind of stuff. We do encourage you to read that, of course. Jen showed the questions, and now you can kind of see it all laid out together. The questions area, the developers area, the knowledge base, and then other resources. Search, I think, is one of the most important things. Most people, 80% surveys and stats say prefer to search, 20% prefer to browse. So search is right here at the top to make it super and easy. She searched for what did she search? How can I reset? I'll try that one. When you hit it, you get results from both the knowledge base and discussions. The little wrench is for knowledge articles, and then this is for discussions. You can filter it if you don't want to see both things. You can say, oh, well, I just want to see discussions, or I just want to see articles, and then I can click the article and read it. And then there you see on the right, that's what I was talking about earlier. If you see something that doesn't look right, or maybe I just want to say like this was super helpful. Like we track and record and share all of that stuff with the author. Please, whether it's constructive or positive, please just click submit and we'll take a look. Going back to the top, it might not be that obvious. Let me know if you don't think it is. But if you click this top left logo, that'll always take you back to the home page. So I tend to do that a lot without even mentioning it. But if I wanted to browse the knowledge base, you could just click and then click the kind of product area you want to read about. Maybe I want to read about ELD, or maybe I'm looking for a specific thing and I just want to browse. So you can read through these different things. You can sort it. Maybe I just want to look at a certain type of article, and you can see what I was talking about earlier. There's how-tos, Q&As, and solutions. They all have a different structure that makes them easy to get familiar with and read through. So a solution here would have the symptoms, what kind of environment it applies to, what caused the issue, and how do you resolve it. Going back to the home page, other resources Jen showed, and this is kind of an extension of the different resources you find all over the place for Geotab. So documentation will take you to some of the documentation that's found normally on geotab.com. We got a bunch of how-to videos right now. It's a long page with a lot of videos, so that's one of the things we're working on next is making that page load faster and organizing the content to make it easier to use. You can get to release notes by clicking that, and then to the SDK from clicking Geotab SDK. Now, I'll just focus on, for the last little bit, on just community stuff. If you search, you didn't find the answer, I think even, actually now that I think of it, from that page you're on, we try to keep the ask a question button everywhere you're going just to make it super easy. So if you're on this page reading the article and you're like, oh, that doesn't answer my question, I had something else. So like you can actually, from that page, even ask the question. Wherever you are, you can ask the question. But if I'm on the home page, I can ask the question and post. And again, how can I reset my password? It's kind of a nice little feature. I think Jen showed that a little bit in her GIF. Or is it GIF? Anyway, it populates stuff from the knowledge base and discussions right here. So, oh, wow, I didn't realize there was a knowledge article. I didn't realize I could search first. So maybe I'll click that and it pops it up over the question. So it doesn't take you away. So it's hopefully quite easy to use and like, oh, actually that does answer my question. I don't need to ask a new one. So I can just say, yes, that helped. And we track that and we appreciate that. So yeah, if it did help, just click yes. If you click no, we also track that. So we'll know like, oh, that article wasn't helpful. We better improve it. If you didn't find an answer here, then yeah, please add more information. Like Jen said, like I'm using whatever. What system are you using? Are you using Geotab Drive or is it my Geotab? As much detail as possible about what you've tried already and all that kind of stuff helps us for sure. And then you can always give your special topics. Maybe it's about questions, but it's also about setup and installation. If I could type and then add that, and then it puts it in both places. Or you could add you can even do that actually in the detail section. So you could say like hashtag, my mouse is failing me. Hashtag Jen is awesome, like that, and then we'll add a tag for that. Maybe I have to do it up here actually.
I encourage everyone to use that tag.
Yeah, I highly encourage that one. There on the right is the leaderboard. Every action in the community has associated point value. So posting a question, you get a certain amount of points. Answering a question, you get even more points. Having your answer marked as the best gets even more points, and so on. All of which gets you to the top of the leaderboard. Yeah, Jen mentioned following people. These are probably people you want to follow, right? Like these are super knowledgeable, obviously. So there's a follow button. Sorry, I'm not that familiar with, oh, I've already following her. That's why I don't see it. Good. At least I practice what I preach, right? If you don't want to just look at the by latest, you can also switch it to most recent. So maybe I want to look at the conversations that are happening right now. This is showing, these were just posted, so that's why at the top. But there's also this one that was posted a while ago, but there's a lot of comments on it, so it's an active thread. Maybe I want to jump in there and join the conversation. Or maybe I want to use the filter on the right to say, I actually want to look at all the unanswered questions just to answer them all and get as many points as I can right now. Oh, look, no one's even talked to Jen on this thread of hers. That would be a good one, a little easy one to jump in and say, hi, Jen, you're awesome. What else can I show you here? There's a little welcome message from Jen, which has a nice little secret link to introducing yourself, which you mentioned before. This is just that thread where everyone kind of fun and friendly thread where people say, hi, this is what I do, and this is what I'm looking to get out of the community. All of these pages I've shown can also be navigated to from the top menu, knowledge base, other resources, etc. What else? Sorry, I'll go back to all questions, and then I'll go to a thread with lots of answers. And then here's some of the stuff that Jen was talking about. So this is why marking as best answer is super valuable. I mean, we want it to be you above all that answers the best, especially if you were the one asking the question. So Matt, I hope it was you, but if you ask the question, then someone answers it and you're like, wow, that was great. That was exactly what I was looking for. It helped me. Yeah, please mark it as best because it pulls it right to the top so that people can just read the question and then the answer. And then, wow, that's so helpful. I can get on with my day. I don't have to read through all the thread if I don't want to. And you can kind of see it's pretty cool. We got a bunch of different resellers jumping in on here. We've got Heather, the head of one of the VPs in sales at Geotab. We've got Jen. All these people are jumping in and having conversations in here. Super awesome. Another maybe a great little tip is you can see Jen here tags the person. That's really helpful because it gives them a note, like a nudge, a notification, an email that someone's responded. Or if you want to tag someone else and you're like, hey, I know Eric knows a lot about KCS. He better jump in on this thread. Feel free. Marking is best. So marking is best like that. We can also company verify things. You can upvote it. That shows us that something's popular. You can also downvote it if it's not popular. And I hope that's about everything. Jen, did I miss anything important?
No, I think you covered everything. I do just want to let people know that company verified is an option that we have, but how it affects you all is that if you see something company verified, it means that the Geotab staff verifies that answer. We obviously look over everything, but it typically means that's the exact answer Geotab gave or would have given. So just to clarify on what company verification is, but it works exactly like select is best, where it will populate that response to the top and kind of give that response a little bit more authority than the other comments.
Thank you, Jen. One other just little thing, you can see that if it's not obvious, this little eye icon means that's how many times the question was viewed. The up arrow is the number of upvotes, and this is the number of answers on the thread. You can also from here click articles and then see these are trending articles. These are ones that are getting a lot of views. So it's kind of like a dynamic FAQ. So we have, sometimes some companies produce FAQs and say, here are the questions we think get asked a lot, but here it's actually, these are the questions that you ask a lot. I think that's even cooler. Great. Well, if you have any questions anytime, feel free to reach out. I'll come back to the presentation just for the last slides on our roadmap. There's a lot of exciting features we're looking to add to the community in the course of the year. No timelines are promised at this time, partly because some of these features depend on how much activity is going on in the community. This first one, ability to contact support, will be the next available thing. Basically, that's why it's really important to choose the correct user type when you log in. So when we see, oh, you're a reseller, then we know, oh, this is the way your ticket should go. It should go to this team, or you have this phone number, and if you're a customer, it should go here, and so on and so forth. So we kind of categorize the users and then make all the support channels available to you from the community. That's our intent: chat, phone, and tickets. What's ideation? That's an interesting word. That means we want you to submit your ideas to us and then have the community vote on them. It's a pretty common feature that a lot of the great communities out there have. It's something that the ability to submit ideas is one of those perks that Jen was talking about earlier. When you get to a certain level on the leaderboard, we would let you submit ideas, and then we'd have the community vote on it, and we'd say, we get our product managers at Geotab to agree to say, if it gets, 1,000 votes, then we're going to add this to our My Geotab roadmap. So it's a really cool way for us to benefit too. Like, we get to hear from you, what do you think we need? And then you get to tell us what you think we need. So it's a great win-win. And kind of fun too. Community newsletters is an automated emailing stuff that will send out to you a digest of what's going on in the community. Here's stuff that's not answered that we could use your help to answer. And we also intend to have like curated content, like here are the discussions that are the most interesting that Jen has handpicked for you, and maybe some other interesting content too. Community member submitted blog, that's like another perk as well that we want to add later on, but basically the idea there is that it's a community crowdsourced blog that's us sharing our stories about how we use Geotab and solve our fleet challenges using telematics. Known issues, it's kind of an extension of the knowledge base, but just making it's something that currently is in My Geotab. There's a list in there. We just want to make that available for you too in the community, so that's all in one place. Groups, that means like it's kind of special areas. They're not necessarily exclusive. Like some of them may be, most of them will not be, but create groups based on demand for a specific kind of groups of people that want to talk about certain things. So like maybe fleet managers want to have a special area that's just for talking about using telematics to manage their fleet. Or maybe there's a special area just for talking about ELD. And kind of related to ideation is this last one about kind of extending participation in betas to the community. It's a common thing that you find in communities whereby we kind of just create a place for you to share your feedback about new betas and give you the opportunity to play around with new features before we release them to the general public. There's a lot more we have coming, but these were just some of the highlights. If there's things that you don't see here that you think would be great to add to the community, please let us know. Email community@geotab.com. If you have questions, ideas, feedback about how it currently works, we're keenly interested to hear from you, so please do reach out. That's all from me. Looking forward to seeing all of you in the community sometime soon. And I don't know if we have time now for any questions that may have arisen.
We absolutely do, Eric. Fantastic job, by the way. I've gotten a lot of people submitting about how excited they are for the Geotab community and to be able to get in there and get their hands dirty. So good to know about that. We also have a little competition going on in our questions box between our two leaderboard folks. One that's bragging that they moved up from number 2 to number 1, and then the other that is upset that they remember the beautiful days when they were number 1 on the leaderboard. So we've got that competition going in the chat as well. First question though that we have here is, could we get the social media options on the main page to bypass having to choose the other option when you're logging in or registering?
That's interesting. I think it would be better to understand like the use case and why you might want that. I'm totally interested to hear more about that. So if you want to share more, like, could you please email community@geotab.com, and I'd be happy to talk through that.
Alrighty, next question that I have here, is there an ability to share custom reports in the community? Can we have a library to share the best reports?
Not currently. That's something that's come up a couple times. So again, I hope it doesn't seem like I'm deflecting, but I really am interested to hear like how you would do that. What are the features you think would make that work really well, just so we build it the right way the first time. I was thinking it would be something under other resources probably, but it could be somewhere else. Since it's come up a lot, I think it's something we have to really think about how to do. So if you don't mind, please again, email community@geotab.com and let us know a little bit more about what you think we should do with that. That's a great idea.
Alrighty, next question that we have, and it was answered in the presentation, but again, we want to make sure that if you guys have these questions and you were able, or you had to step away for some reason, that they do get answered live here, is can you follow a specific leader on the leaderboard?
Yes, absolutely you can. You can click their name here, like I could click Joy, and then at the top, I've already followed her, but it would be, I think, a dark blue button that would just say follow if you hadn't. I could do it actually now for you. Okay, so it looks like this, plus follow, you just click that, and that's it.
Alrighty, next question that we have here is there an option to search regional information and answers as well as articles? So for example, if you were looking for something specific to the United Kingdom.
That is a really, man, it's just like my tagline of the day is just contact community@geotab.com, but please do. I'd really like to hear more about that. What's the kind of content you'd expect there? But that is something we could do at least in the knowledge base. I mean, you can do it in the community. It's just people haven't maybe necessarily tagged that content yet, but if they tag a topic that says UK, then technically anything that gets tagged with that topic is organized accordingly. So we could create a special area just for that, or it's not a search facet at the moment, but we could explore adding that. And we could also explore adding it as like a different way to categorize the knowledge base. Like we currently just have the one kind of system of categorization, which is based on like products and features, but we could also add locale and thing like that. That's definitely possible, and lots of people do that sort of thing. So yeah, please reach out. I'd love to hear more.
Awesome, and it looks like the last question that we have for today's session is, are there plans to integrate the community to My Geotab?
That's a great question. It's currently, like, you can find the button for the community in My Geotab. It takes you into a new tab, so not necessarily the best experience. But yeah, the short answer is yes. We absolutely want to integrate it into My Geotab. It's just going to take a little bit of time because it's a totally custom community that we have to embed in there. So it's not a low level of effort. It'll be quite a bit of work, but we definitely want to do that.
I also just wanted to jump in about the last question. Again, this would be in the distant future, but we had mentioned groups were a possibility. And if there are a lot of users in a certain region that seem active, we could potentially also create groups based on location, or also like different languages and things like that too. So keep in mind, like he said, if you email us more details, there are a few different ways that we could very likely make that happen.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys. It looks like that's the end of our questions for this session. If you do have any more questions that pop into your head over the next few days, feel free to either plug those into the Geotab community or email community@geotab.com. I want to say thanks again to Eric and Jen for joining us today and teaching us all about Geotab community. With that being said, until next time, I'm Shay Green, and I want to thank everyone for joining us today on Wildcard Wednesday. We'll see you guys next time. Same Geotab time, same Geotab channel. Thanks so much, everybody.